Hi and welcome to this very simple no bullshit Corrupted Gauntlet guide. Now this guide is showing the way I learned the prepping phase, but it also assumes that you know the basics, like what to pray and so on. If that is not the case, you can click on the video showed right here now to see my in-depth starter guide on the Corrupted Gauntlet. The most important thing I can tell you is that you need to be prepared to make mistakes. Going in and trying the gauntlet over and over is the single best way to learn. You can even see later in this video that my run isn't even near perfect, and I still make it with plenty of time to spare. First and foremost, I would highly advise you to get the plugin, the gauntlet, and set it up like this to keep track on your resources. For learning, you're gonna wanna always make the Tier 2 armor. It is way more forgiving than the Tier 1, and is still way easier to prepare than the Tier 3. Furthermore, the easiest way to learn is to use Tier 3 of the bow and the staff, which you get by killing the dark beast and the dragon. You will always be able to get 16 fish with this guide, and I would advise you to aim for up to 20 fish while learning. 2 potions should be enough for even the longest boss fights in the beginning, so we want to prepare 2 herbs and 2 vials. Lastly but not least, you need 460 crystal shards in total for all of this to work out. Later I'll show you a trick to use for easier learning, but that requires a little bit more shards and is not required. Getting all these resources don't sound too simple, but I'm gonna show you a trick that guarantees that you'll be able to make everything in time in 99% of your runs. Note that it might take a couple of tries to get this right, but once you've learned it, the prep phase is out of the way and you can focus on actually learning the boss mechanics. Now to the how. Once you enter the Corrupted Gauntlet, you first want to move to either of the sides and then kinda loop around like here, like I'm showing here. It is very important that you try to collect everything in the rooms while killing all the small monsters until you get a weapon frame. When you reach the outer rooms, you should just open the rooms to go check for demi-bosses, but continue as the arrow shows here. When you reach back in the starting room, your inventory should be full, or at least very close. Go to the singing ball, make a staff. If you can make the Tier 2, that's preferred. You should also make 2 vials, and if you have enough crystal shards and resources, you can make some armor, but for learning, you can just drop everything for now. Note that if you change between dropping different resources, it'll pick up in the same order later, which is useful. Drop every resource and fish. Once done, your inventory should look like mine here. Pause the video if you want to see it for longer. And now your task is actually very simple. You have to go out and find the remaining resources. If you saw a dark beast or a dragon in the outer room, go kill that to get the orb or the bowstring. And then you just want to loop around the edge until you find the other demi-boss. And all this while you look for the rest of the resources, of course. Remember, you need 1 extra weapon frame. If there's no dark beast or dragon in your outer rooms, like in my example, just go another direction until you've found both and everything else you need. Then you simply teleport back and prepare everything like I do in my sped up example here. Since this is the prepping guide only, this is actually the end of the video. If you want to see my guide on the boss fight, I'll put a link here. If you want to see a full run with commentary in the in-depth guide, you can click the link here. Otherwise, thank you all for watching and have a great rest of your day.